In 2010, I made the decision to reapply for college. At the time, I was a freshman at the City University of New York's Baruch College in their honors program. I was pursuing a business degree with the hopes that I would get a big-time business person job and make a lot of money. After all, I grew up watching my family struggling financially and at times collecting cans in the early morning to recycle for money, selling candy on school nights and weekends to help pay the rent, and needing to steal food from supermarkets to make sure I wasn't hungry. Being rich would solve all of those problems for me. But this wasn't an easy decision for me. My senior year of high school, I applied to Baruch and MIT. Without using the R word, let's just leave it at Baruch was my only option. When you don't get into one top school, you're not immediately excited about applying to another. After all, who enjoys rejection? Oh wait, that's right, you do. I almost forgot I was recording this for the sales and partnership training. All right, enjoy might be a strong word, but it at least has to do something positive to you, like thicken your skin, motivate you to succeed the next time, make you feel self-righteous because you're helping them, or even get you worked up to find a way around the reservation. Where was I? That's right, I got a 4.0 GPA my first semester, and I decided I was going to apply to transfer colleges. But this time, instead of applying to 2 colleges, I would only apply for 1. If I didn't get in, I would stay at Baruch. With a 4.0 and what I learned from the college application process the first time, I couldn't imagine not getting in. I was applying to continue my business education at Cornell. Shortly after submitting my application, I started to panic. How was I going to pay for tuition if I got in? It turns out it wasn't something I needed to worry about. Nonetheless, it set me on this journey to scholarship hunt. Almost immediately, I ran across a $10,000 scholarship opportunity funded by the United Negro College Fund and Coca-Cola that asked students to come up with a solution to the achievement gap involving corporate intervention. I knew nothing about the achievement gap or how corporations work because no one in my family had ever worked for a corporation, but I wanted $10,000 to put towards my tuition at Cornell. So I did what anyone else would have done at the time, and I Googled it. In 2009, McKinsey & Company published a report that estimated that the achievement gap, which is the disparity in academic achievement between rich kids and poor kids, Black kids and white kids, was costing our economy between $300 billion and $500 billion each year, which was the economic equivalent of a permanent national recession. This was an especially big deal in 2008 because America was dealing with one of the biggest financial recessions in its history. As I dug deeper into the achievement gap and its causes, I learned that we've known about these problems for decades. In fact, McKinsey's report wasn't the first report on this subject. I was angry that more wasn't done to close these gaps sooner. Without knowing about it, the achievement gap directly impacted me, my family, and all of my childhood friends. At the time, I thought it couldn't be that hard to take that long or to close these gaps. After entrenching myself in this work for the last decade and a half, I've come to admit that it is that hard. But while the change is slow, there are a lot of bright spots and reasons for hope. It's one of the primary reasons why I've persisted, though the number one reason has been the tangible impact our partnership has been able to have on the lives of kids growing up just like I did. We have scholars who have won hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarships, many who have graduated from elite colleges and gone on to get the jobs that can have a life-changing impact. The impact, or outcomes as we like to call them, results, are why we work so hard. At the heart of our purpose is to ensure no child's circumstance limits their potential, is a desire to drive results that level the playing field. The way we do that is through partnership with our core customer. By now, you know the challenges I face growing up as a non-native speaker in a crowded household with a single mother that was abusive at times in a poor neighborhood with no shortage of violent crime, and on several occasions, when I went to school hungry. I share those details with you to give you a glimpse into the challenges schools are dealing with when kids growing up like me enter their school doors every day. Except they're multiplied and exacerbated with all of the other issues poverty brings, like transitional housing, drugs, alcohol abuse, and unaddressed mental health challenges. Without addressing and supporting the whole child, delivering academic instruction can be challenging. Unfortunately, the state assessments that scholars take do not give extra points for dealing with those challenges. And not being able to read, write, and do math on grade level means diminished life prospects and greater likelihoods of incarceration, teenage pregnancy, committing violent crimes, which just perpetuate a cycle of poverty. That's why we exist. Many of the school leaders who choose to lead low-income schools do it because they know what is at stake for the scholars in their schools. They want to make a difference in the lives of some of our country's most deserving children, and they believe they can. We're there to make sure that they do not have to do it alone. We understand the odds are stacked against them, and we want to go the extra mile with them to ensure their scholars have a fair chance. After all, talent and genius know no boundaries. It is our social responsibility to ensure the next generation have an equal opportunity to contribute to and advance our society, regardless of where they're born. Before I go much further, I need to tell you something. Talk is cheap. A lot of people say they are about helping vulnerable children. They want to help low-income schools. They understand the stress and the pressure low-income school leaders are facing. They are committed to making sacrifices in their own lives to see others be successful, until it's time to take action, until it's time to actually make the sacrifices. One of my early role models, Geoffrey Canada, who founded the Harlem Children's Zone, dodged a meeting with me for over a year. When we finally met, he told me he stopped meeting with people early in their careers who said they wanted to make a difference because time after time, when push came to shove and things got tough, they didn't last. They talked a big game, then their lives got in the way. They decided that there were other ways to make a difference in this world. They lost hope. I remember me leaving my meeting thinking he was arrogant and self-centered. Today, I know that I was arrogant and self-centered. When I started this work, it was about me and the impact I was going to make, the community I was going to save, the world I was going to prove wrong. Our scholars and our schools don't care about that. It wasn't until I had my back against the wall with every opportunity to quit that I realized what Geoffrey Canada meant. I picked the hard way. I decided to put others before myself. All this to say, our school partners and school administrators don't want to deal with vendors and salespeople. They're looking for a partner. They are naturally skeptical. They don't need to be sold to. They need to be listened to. They want to be understood, and they need to know that they can trust us. Our partners can see a wolf in sheep's clothing, or in this case, a salesperson masked as a partner. So what does it take to build trust and commitment? First, it takes understanding who our core partner is. Put as simply as we've been able to define them, they are an overwhelmed Title I school administrator who deeply cares about results for their scholars and families. Second, it takes time and persistence. There are absolutely moments of instant connection, but most of the time, relationships take years to build. When they're established, their doors are wide open for bigger collaborations to benefit their scholars and school community. Lastly, they want to see a partner who's going to follow through on what they care about. Let me say that again. Not what they promise, what they care about. And if you listened carefully to the profile of our core partner, you heard that they care about results for their scholars and families. That's why the core of what Practice is working to deliver and continuing to refine for our partners are results. If you leave here remembering only two things today, remember that our core partners care about results and that they're overwhelmed. When you're building a relationship with them to uncover what their challenges are, lean into figuring out what results are important to them so we know how to best support them. And then don't stop finding ways to stay top of mind and support them. They're overwhelmed. That means you're going to have to be creative to stay top of mind. When they don't respond to you, even when they promised, it's not personal. It's not because they changed their mind, though those things are possible. It's because they have 1,000,001 things going on in their schools. And they have to deal with scholars who come into school with the kinds of baggage I brought into school with me every day. Get creative, think long-term, and be persistent.